sunk an enemy destroyer.
Hey team, it's Ripper. I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. Got a great video with the Druid right here about do not let the Druid flank you, and that's a very good tip for this video. But before we begin, if you guys like this channel, see value in it, like, subscribe, bell button below, and appreciate all the subscribers and the support. At 2,000 subs, we're going to give a free premium DD giveaway. So let's get right to it. So we got the Druid in clan battles right now. Clan season going on. I believe it's about to end soon, but correct me if I'm wrong. But again, this is really interesting and a very good tip and technique for all you Druid players out there, or even Destroyer players. Really be aware of if you see a Druid in the lineup, and this was one of my first videos or first tips I talked about. When if you can check it out, previous video about how to be a good DD player is first check the lineup. If you check the lineup and you see a Druid, think about that for a second. The Druid, if you don't know what it is, it's a British premium DD that has just guns, okay? If a Druid if a Destroyer only focuses on guns and they're on the front of the ship, something is afoot about what this playstyle of this ship's going to be. And you know, it's basically going to be a flanker, it's going to be a pusher, it's going to be a Citadel King, and this is a good demonstration of what it is. So let's look at it. The lineup right now, this is on the map North, everybody's favorite map. This map has been around for, I don't know, a long time. It's the basic setup. Any World of Warship player sees this, they definitely recognize what it is. But this is the standard setup: 7 ships, 2 destroyers, 4 cruisers, and a battleship. Pretty much the optimal setup. The strategy for this one was nothing cosmic or anything. It's really just a basic split, right? So normally what I would do for this one, I call it the basic split, an even split. It just have a destroyer and 2 cruisers support that destroyer, moving to each cap that's easy to cap, right? I mean, it's not very hard. It's very simple. It's going, hey, we want to contest every cap we can. A is a freebie. The superior destroyer, the destroyer with the 2 cruisers here is allowing you to defend against any kind of massive push going up Bravo. And of course, you have the 2 cruisers here, as well as a destroyer here to cap and contest Charlie. And of course, the battleship can either linger in the middle to provide fire support to either direction, or in this case, I think our battleship player decided that, hey, Charlie seems to be overwhelmed. Then they make a decision called an audible, and that audible says, hey, where's the most firepower needed right now? And they elected to move to Charlie, because I think what happened was there was a superior firepower coming to Charlie, so the battleship made a command decision saying, hey, we need more support that direction. And I believe this is kind of what the setup was, and then eventually we had a destroyer maybe lingering in the middle here, and actually wasn't really sure. I had to review the video. But this is kind of how the initial setup was for the enemy team once they were spotted. Now, this is kind of the look here. Now, let's talk about some of the pros and cons about this setup. So, the biggest thing is you don't want to give away a free cap. That's obvious, right? So, Alpha and Bravo, each team gets it. Now, Charlie, there's arguments here. There's 2 ways of thinking. Do you want to give up the Charlie cap for a lemming train push? Let's say you and your team want to do a lemming train push this way. Do you give up the cap Charlie? Now, a lot of you say, hey, never give up a free contested cap. In my opinion, it depends. If you want to throw the enemy off and have all their ships coming in one direction at Charlie, and then fake them out, do a head fake, and basically have a massive push to Bravo, you can do that because the Alpha Bravo caps are easier to defend. Look, you only have to travel this far, but going back and forth, it's a little bit easier to defend. You have fatal funnels in 2 directions right here. So those are some of the ideas you can think about right there. Now, if you want to do what we elected to do in this battle, is basically you have what's it called? You have the enemy team pushing at Charlie, and you have the friendly team at Alpha. You have an even split here, which is kind of a balanced way, and you can respond to any kind of push from the enemy team in this direction because it's kind of conservative, right? You can defend up. You can defend a middle push here. You can defend a middle push there. If they come to Charlie hard, they can always have superior firepower. If they leave this one open, they can push it, which happens to be the situation in this case. So let's see how this actually goes. So what actually turned out to happen, and my thought was, since I'm in a Druid, the idea is to have me and the Druid push on the outside, because it's a DD gunboat. It doesn't have any torpedoes or anything, so there's no point in torpedoing the channel or anything. We're just strictly going straight down the straight west, and then pushing in to flank. I mean, that's what a Druid does. Its specialty is to use superior guns to eliminate any destroyer and eliminate any cruiser out there, because it loves citadels on cruisers. Pretty awesome. And of course, you have your 2 supporting cruisers to back up as well with the radar if need be. And that's how we do the kind of this basic push right here, and it gives you that option. Now, the enemy team made a mistake right here. I think leaving only 2 cruisers over here without any DD support is kind of a bad bad idea because why? If you don't have any DD support, nothing is helping you spot. Unless these things are radar cruisers, which normally is the case. But when you lose that radar, you have nobody else to spot for you. That's why I always recommend have a destroyer with every set of cruiser out there or push together. I mean, do not leave two cruisers alone by themselves. The destroyer elects to come back over to Charlie, I believe, in the video, and it turns out to be kind of a very, very heated battle over at Charlie. And again, Charlie's always been contested. And the other option is, like I talked about, you can do a hard push alpha if you had the battleship, cruiser, and you kind of do a head fake like this. If you do a head fake with the destroyer out here, the enemy team will push in and overwhelm the cap, right? But look what happens. They give up Bravo. So basically, everybody's pushing out Alpha Bravo. We already talked about the lemming train push kind of this way. It's a very easy defend, good fatal funnel fires, right? But that's not actually what actually happens. This is actually kind of the setup right here. And you're going to notice at the video that because they elected to give up their Bravo cap, the cruisers, they are left out to dry. And essentially, our remaining cruisers come in to mop up the battle. And then, of course, the mighty Druid comes in and punishes their flank. And that's exactly what happens if you open and leave these two open. You're also throwing the ability to get flanked from either Alpha or Bravo. So that is another problem if you overwhelm Charlie. So again, different perspectives about this. The way I look at it is it's how your team works and the dynamic that they have. Can you, for example, say, hey, team at Charlie, can you hold for about 5 to 8 minutes while the Alpha team pushes and tries to eliminate this team here and push through? And can you also have good communication where you guys can maneuver and regroup so that you guys can outflank your enemy or outposition your enemy like this? And the cruisers continue to push as well as continue to hold Alpha. So again, if you can set up essentially good movement, good fire and movement and communication, that really is the key to victory. Not one person can win, can determine a match. However, in this particular match, I will have to say the Druid is pretty horrendous when you give it pure autonomy to flow through this enemy flank and eliminate two cruisers right here, then push on and eliminate another battleship and a cruiser here, as well as the last thing you want to do is have a Druid go one-on-one with a destroyer, okay? Because honestly, it's very difficult to take down a Druid if you don't know what you're looking for or know how you're aiming. So let's take a look at the video and see actually how this actually turns out. So the plan was basically even split, contest Charlie, but then hard push Alpha. It's kind of, again, what I call a delayed push. But this time you're delay pushing with one of the superior destroyers out there, as well as two radar cruisers in support. So let's take a look at the video and see how it goes. All right, team, here we are. Pre-game chit-chat. So I'll just talk to you guys while we're sailing amongst the other friendly destroyers and cruisers here. But as we're setting up, you can see the initial push is even split, called for by me, going, hey, let's do one destroyer, two cruisers to each cap, as well as a battleship in the middle to support any kind of massive push. But let's talk about the Druid in a little bit. It is a, I believe it's a research bureau ship. It's one of the difficult, I would say, resources to get. I would say it's definitely worth it, though. If I had to say research bureau, which one would I get? I definitely would get the Vampire and the Druid. Those are the best destroyers I've seen so far, and almost overpowered in a sense that people keep calling it. Again, I don't think they're overpowered in a sense, because you can still destroy and kill vampires and druids just like that. But honestly, the vampires and druids are awesome. They're kind of following along the line of the daring class type of destroyers, but super, super powerful in each regard. Each of them having their own unique characteristics that I really do enjoy in a unique playstyle. Now, the reason why I like the Druid so much is because it focuses on one thing: pure gunboat DD power. And that's exactly why I like playing destroyers, purely for the gunboat action and really just the rapid firing guns, the amount of impact you can have on a battlefield, which you're going to see right here in the game, as well as the high DPM, high health pools on some of these destroyers, as well as it has heals. The thing I've always said is if you want a destroyer, pick one that has heals, because it helps you basically cover up and repair from the mistakes you've possibly have created or did to yourself. So I always like having heals, especially with the daring class, the European classes, the Druid class, very, very powerful in that regard, and it's awesome. So right here, we're going to see that we're doing the even split. Already, you can see at the mini-map right there, Charlie Cap is getting contested right now, and for every right, that was the whole intent and purpose, is to get the enemy team to massively push to Charlie's, giving us an advantage at Bravo, and hopefully we do have a ship advantage at Bravo, because I noticed there's a small one right there popping up. I have the two cruisers and the battleship. It means I have 4 guys at Charlie, while they possibly have 3 at Bravo, I'm assuming. Now, I'm assuming that the destroyer would either go to the west of Bravo, and I'm going to go head on one-on-one dogfighting here, straight up and going and seeing if we can eliminate that destroyer and then flank Bravo easily, right? So that's what we're kind of naturally doing. It does take a little bit of time, though, so that just understand that this is a kind of a delayed push built into the design because we are a slow destroyer. Now, the Druid is not the fastest destroyer out there. I'm just letting you know, look, I top out around 36.7-ish knots. Not the greatest destroyer for speed. Now, when you got the likes of Marceau, Kleber, and all these other Soviet destroyers that go up to like 40 knots, this is not the best pick for speed, but it is a slow pusher, but it continuously pushes. That's what I like about the Druid. You can see the continuous battle right there going on at Charlie, and we got our Stalingrad and Moscow pushing forward, which are very tanky cruisers. Unfortunately, they're probably going to die pretty quickly because of the fire chances. Now, no matter how tanky you are, there's no ship on Earth that can stop fires in this game. They just burn down. If you keep burning down, you burn down, right? So we're going to round this corner and keeping our guns facing in, and we pop our Hydro for a reason because we know, and again, I checked the lineup. There is a Summers and a Smallin, right? The Smallin is obviously in the Charlie cap, so he's over there. He's the gunboat I want to deal with. The one I'm dealing with probably right now is the Summers, which is a torpedo boat. Knowing those pieces of information allows you to play a certain kind of play style because then I pop the Hydro, and then I have to have some kind of situational awareness where these torpedoes possibly could come from. I don't want to take a stray torpedo and waste my health on that. Now, look what we're doing. We're calling for a massive push on Bravo. We got popped radar right there. Now we're exposing a broadside Stalingrad. Now watch this, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what you do not want to do if you're a cruiser, is give full broadside to a Druid and while you're in smoke with nobody spotting for you. That tells me that their destroyer is out of the cap. He pops radar to reveal where I'm at. And now look what he has to do. He has to make a decision either to shoot at my cruiser, Puerto Rico, or is he going to shoot me, which is doing way more damage to him than the Puerto Rico is. So guess what? He's aiming his guns towards me. And what is my second rule about being a destroyer? You want to be the most annoying thing to draw fire from your team to you, so it saves your team. Part of you as a defensive strategy is to protect your team as well by drawing fire. See, those shots coming from the left there were from my teammates for free. Nobody's firing at my teammates, and that's cool because now I get to have free reign, and my buddies can shoot very kindly on the Stalingrad. Notice here's a good example of saturation. Look, I'm aiming at the nose. Look at those nice juicy pins. Now, after it's saturated with all those hits, you notice I won't get any more high hits anymore. It's like 390, 780, very, very low because it can't go any higher than that, and we're going to see if we can blow him up after hitting the nose here, and boom, he goes down from the Armaska. And that's a pure good example of saturation right there, because just like any ship in the game, every section of the ship has a certain amount of HP points that it can take off down to the lowest it can go. Once you've taken out all the max damage it can, it has gone to a certain level where after that, shooting that same spot again will just give you as minimal damage as possible. That's why it's good to saturate the entire ship and get those nice juicy, like 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 hits over and over again. But if you shoot one spot over and over again, it doesn't give you the maximum damage that you could do. It will still do some damage, just not as much as you would like. It's called saturation. The French DDs have the best saturation in the game. You go look that up. Go watch a video about that. That's why a lot of people pick the Colbert and Marceau. And now we're taking on the Hindenburg now, who is also running away, trying to cap our Alpha cap. Unfortunately, giving way too much broadside to our buddy right there, and he is taken out and eliminated from the game. Now look where we're at right now. Look up, we have two caps, Alpha Bravo. We are above in points about 80 or 90-ish points, something like that. I think we're at 80. Let me do the math. Public math, yep, we're about 80-something points ahead. The enemy team has somehow managed to cap Charlie, but like I said, also another rule is it's not about who caps the point first. It's who holds and survives the longest, which is exactly what we did. We just waited them out, eliminated the team at Bravo, and now we are free reign as a Druid to push their flank, which is something you don't want to do as an enemy team. If you see a Druid on the other opposing lineup, you do not want to see a Druid coming up on your flank right now. So I'm currently spawning for my team. I'm keeping the Ohio on with this so that my GK can also do his secondary thing where he's got his secondaries locked on and melting the Ohio with his secondary guns, which melt up to 32 millimeters armor if you're building for it. They believe IFHE can get a little higher. And then, of course, you have the Moskva here showing broadside. Again, another Soviet cruiser showing broadside. The Soviet cruisers do not like having broadside hits from little destroyers like me. So look at that. Okay, look at his health. Is just going to slowly, look, we're hitting a nice, I'm aiming for his front nose and getting those nice 1,500 hits. Now we're slowly aiming at his center right there, and we're getting 2,300 hits, 1,200. I mean, you just cannot survive that, like losing 1,200 to 2,500 HP at a time, about every 2 seconds. You cannot do that in a Soviet cruiser. That's why the Druid is so powerful, especially with these heavy AP damage. You're getting the best ricochet angles in the game, as well as about 22 to 2,400 damage each salvo, so it's pretty horrendous. And just look what we're doing right here. And do we get him? And there you go, splash one. That's our first kill for the day, and the Druid right there. And now we've got our nice little Ohio, also showing a nice broadside to us. And look at that, just 700 every couple seconds. I mean, it is not sustainable with this amount of firepower from the Druid. And see if we get the kill. Do we get him? And boom, splash two. He goes down. That's Ohio going down, and all we have left is the Summers. And if I was the Summers, I would not want to go one-on-one with the Druid. It's just not a fair match because the Druid is such a superior gunfighter that it's just not fair at this point. But you know, it's a breath or sigh of relief, or breath of relief, whatever how you want to say it, for my teammates, because they don't have to deal with the Summers and they can just let the Druid mop up everything right there. Notice the torpedoes are coming at me from this direction, so I'm assuming, hey, let me just drive this direction and see where I'm at. And you know what? My concealment's not the greatest. It's out to 6.6-ish or 6.5-ish. That's okay. As soon as I get spotted, I know he's probably going to have to either engage me with guns, like right now. Is he going to shoot me? Is he going to shoot me? I'll just keep driving until I run into his concealment. And I watch the minimap, and there he pops on the right. Swing my gun as I'm aiming right in front and sending some full salvos there. One and done. He is splash 3 right there, and that's the game for the Druid right there. Very, very powerful. 111,000 damage with 3 kills and making a major push from the flank. Druid is super powerful. Like, subscribe, bell button below. If you saw some value in the techniques and considerations right there, let me know what your thoughts are. As always, what can we do better? I'm always looking for improvement and always learning to get better, as well as building a community, and we can't thank you guys enough. So anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe out there. Happy belated New Year's if you guys are having a New Year's, just waking up. And as always, say hi if you see me out in the game. And as always, build is at the end of this video. And again, enjoy. Hope you enjoy it. Take care. Cheers.